So yeah, I got it, and what's more, I like it. As if you need to be told, this is Tyler, the creator of Odd Future's debut album, Goblin. I mean, there's been tons of MP3s, including many MP3s presented as albums, and I think basically every member has had at least one album of MP3s, but this is the first actual album. Pre-ordered this with a couple of other albums themselves, which got pushed back, Coogee Rap, which got pushed back, Nick Wiz, which just arrived, Neek the Exotic, which then I kind of canceled because I was running low on funds, and what was the other one? EdoG, same thing, canceled that one, but I'll get to them eventually. But so in the meantime, this is the only one that arrived, but so it turns out. It's a good thing it's good. I don't know how many of you have actually had a chance to see the actual LP version as opposed to the CDs or just, you know, graphics floating around on the interweb. It comes out in a nice gatefold cover, although it's just sort of some kind of campy pictures of Tyler on the inside there. Track listing on the back, sort of all jumbled up. This is a pretty cool, nice presentation. The LPs have the funky hand-drawn Goblin logo for the labels, and the track listing on the other side. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. It's really, you know, it's like the old 4-track tapes from the 90s. It's very, very West Coast. In fact, you know, I know a lot of people don't like this, and a lot of people don't like Odd Future and that whole kind of movement, or just a crew, whatever you want to call it. And some of it, okay, maybe it's age, just because hip-hop's growing up and you get more and more older heads in it. And this is obviously the new batch of teenagers. But I think more to that, it's more that these guys are defiantly, definitely West Coast all the way. There's, you know, okay, some elements of gangster rap in there, sort of. It's like the old 4-track stuff, like you used to get from ATAC. It's stuff like, which is why I guess 2Mex was mad at them. If you don't know, 2Mex, he did a song dissing them online, which was kind of, but anyway, I think that's sort of why, is the fact that they sort of, they are so sort of embodying the West Coast legacy. They got so much of that sound, there's so much, you know, of that movement, and yet they sort of don't seem to acknowledge it, perhaps are unaware of it. That's what they say anyway. I don't know if that's true. Maybe they're completely aware of it. It sounds like they've just listened and immersed themselves into tons and tons of West Coast music, from everything from, you know, Shapeshifters to fucking, you know, 99th Dimension and Z-Man and Nayla and all that kind of stuff, and then more classic, you know, King T and all that. You know, really the only thing missing is like a guest appearance from J-Ro or something on here. It's got that really lo-fi kind of cheap production sound that you kind of, again, got from those 4-track tapes. It's all self-produced by Tyler himself. And, you know, on their own, like those tapes, it's got that kind of vibe where, like, you wouldn't really want to pick out any of these songs as singles. You know, none of them are really these great crafted songs. None of them have very lush musical backgrounds. They're these just sort of very lo-fi, kind of crunchy, digital sort of instrumentals that you get from those tapes that, you know, makes the whole album work as a cohesive whole, but you wouldn't really pull them out as individual songs. One song on here, that Fish/Poppin' Bitch, I mean, that almost has a whole Egyptian lover feel to it, man. You know, or like Arabian Prince, Where's My Bitches, that kind of thing. Just all you would need is maybe a little bit of a Egyptian lover doing that sort of erotic breathing, looped into the track, and then it would be totally, totally pure, old school, classic West Coast hip-hop revived. So it's that throwback, but then it's also totally young cats, and so it's also pretty new, and they're sort of more on a lyrical, dexterous tip than anybody was back then. You know, I mean, Tyler isn't quite Coogee Rap, but he's still coming up with lots of kind of creative flows or creative rhymes, and a lot of stream of consciousness rhymes too, which again brings much more towards the West Coast style. I mean, I don't know if they're actually stream of conscious, but they sound more stream of consciousness style. So sometimes it's really inventive, and other times it's very more autobiographical and down to earth. Sometimes it can be too self-referential about his career, you know, too much about sort of, you know, who he's mad at on Twitter, and so like he couldn't leave that out. You know, that just sort of seems like maybe a, you know, a little bit too much of a young cat in the new 2000 style that doesn't really quite work. Not that I mind 2000 references or anything like that. I don't need Tyler to bring me back to the 90s, because believe me, I got stacks of tapes from the 90s. I'm not mad that he doesn't perfectly emulate back then, but it just sort of seems like there's some, you know, who cares? Who cares who he's mad at Twitter? You know, who cares about you know, what happened in his last show, that kind of thing. But when it's more personal, then it's interesting, and it's more inventive and creative, then it's really interesting. The album has sort of a running theme of sort of a counterpoint voice. Tyler's sort of playing two characters, sort of playing a narrator, you know, which is like what Reggie Noble did with that whole Dr. whatever character, Slim Shady, you know, Eminem did with that. And it works as much as those worked, and it gets annoying as much as those sometimes got annoying. But overall, you know, so it's not a perfect album. It's a mixed album. It's definitely sort of a young upstart indie album, which again is part of its appeal. It's the same track listing as the CD, or well, there's two CDs. It's the same track listing as a regular CD, all 15 songs. There's a bonus golden deluxe edition with an extra disc that has a few extra songs on there. This doesn't have those. This is the same track listing as a regular CD. So yeah, just letting you know the album's, well, I was gonna say letting you know the album's out there, but obviously everybody knows the album's out there. But just letting you know that Warner gives it the thumbs up. I like it. I got the vinyl. And apparently the success of this has led Def Jam to sign Frank Ocean, or maybe not sign him, but they're at least putting out his next album. So the next Odd Future album is coming out pretty soon. Hopefully they'll put that out on wax too. This has at least got me. I'll be checking for that based on the strength of this. So, and as long as they keep it up, I'll be going release to release. It's a good. I'm not gonna play clips of it because if you can't find audio of Tyler, the Creator's Goblin, online already, then I don't know, you're not connected to the internet anyway, so you're not seeing this video. Till next time, Warning Final Rod, peace out.